Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim TV video. This is Mark. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Railways to Devon and Cornwall route version 8, which is now available from Vulcan Productions and Thomson Sim. We're going to take a look at a scenario that I've made, just quickly put together. It's not actually available yet. It's a little scenario from Plymouth to Gunnislake and return, although this video will only cover the outward journey, using the Vulcan Productions Class 118 reskin into BR Blue Grey. The unit itself is from the North Somerset route, and the scenario is based on the 1984 working timetable. So we'll get ready. We're sat in Plymouth in the Bay platform. I think it's platform 3, is it, this one? And the message says, "Good evening, driver. Please press T to open the doors. We are due to depart for Gunnislake at 1811. Now, we're going to get a right away message before that signal actually changes, which is something that I need to obviously fix, but there's a light engine coming in from the south, which is what we're waiting for. So we'll delete that message, unpause the game, press T to open the doors, check everything's okay on the front. We need to take the taillights off. So on this unit with the modifications Matt Wilson made at Vulcan Productions, he made it so you can turn the lights and stuff on and off. So you press Control and T to turn the headlights off, taillights off, then it's Control and M to put the marker lights on. Obviously the destination lights can be changed and stuff as well. So this is Plymouth Station that we're stood in at the moment. Now, obviously this route is not exactly correct for this scenario. It's actually, the route is modern, so you got all the First Great Western branding. I believe it's actually set in 2019, but the branding is still for First Great Western, so I'm not sure whether that'll be changed at some point. For me, it doesn't really matter that much, but I can kind of see why people would want it to be changed to Great Western, considering the rest of the route is, it's kept up to date. They sort of rolled the updates forward as real life updates. So anyway, the unit is 2-car Class 118. It's actually a Class 117 that's been reskinned into a 118. I quite like it. It's got the AP sound pack on it as well, the Pro sound pack. A few different custom fins. I think the thing on the roof here is custom. Then you got the head code box. I believe that's plated over in custom as well. Destination blinds are custom, numbering custom. All sorts of different things on the sides as well, as you would expect. Makes for quite a nice little thing to drive. The Class 47 that we're waiting for is now just coming into the platform, so while that's happening we'll get our gears ready. So to do that is Shift and E to put it into first gear. Note the change in audio. Now that's the message I said. It's appeared a little bit early because I need to reschedule that message to appear about 45 seconds later to a minute, whilst this Class 47 comes into the station. So this 47 is from the VP Blue Class 47 pack. It's a reskin pack of the original Kuju 47s, and various different features on this include scripting clag and stuff like that, and a few other scripting performance changes. It covers the Class 47s, I guess the brush built. I can't remember which ones it is. It's certain ones before 1985 anyway. It includes all sorts of things like depot plates and stuff like that. And that's just rolling down into the through line. We've got the road now, so we need to depart to keep on schedule. So I'll take the brakes off, put the power on. And here we go. So we are heading out of Plymouth North Road now. 25-mile-an-hour limit out here. And we're heading on the journey to Gunnislake, which is along the former southern route, which used to go to London Waterloo via Roehampton. It used to come into Exeter from the north via Crediton. And we'll be on that route as far as Beer Alston, where we reverse and we head along the former, I'm not sure, is it the former Princetown Road? Honestly, I haven't actually looked into that, so I'm totally wrong, I think, there. But we reverse at Beer Alston to go to Gunnislake. And that is a really sharp, curved little line. And this sort of shows off quite a lot of this route. It's sort of the niceties of it, because it really is a pleasant drive. So we're calling at Devonport, Dockyard, Keam, St Budo Victoria Road, Beer Ferrers, Beer Alston, Calstock, and then Gunnislake obviously at the end. So we're just heading out of Plymouth now. I'm just reading back about the Gunnislake line. I was wrong about the Princetown bit. It was actually, I believe, a terminus in its own right, and it always has been. I have got the AP track enhancement pack on here, which it's one thing to know with that, it does cause a few issues with bridges and stuff, and you'll notice that yourself as you're driving it. You'll notice that the track goes through some of the bridges. It is designed not to be used with the Kuju pack, with the AP track enhancement pack. I don't know why I said Kuju, talking rubbish. So we're just approaching Devonport now. So one of the big advantages, I suppose, of this route is that I'm now driving towards Cornwall, and I don't require the Just Trains Cornish Main Line to do this, which is quite obviously a cool thing. You require the Just Trains Common Library, and you do require a hell of a lot of assets to run this route, and that is probably the only real downside to it, is that there is quite a lot of requirements. I think once you look past that, this route is probably, in my opinion, if not the most complete and best route out there. It is one that certainly, it'd probably be in the top 5 or 10 certainly. So yeah, you don't require the Just Trains Cornish Main Line route to go south of Plymouth, and I think the scenery that you see in this route is just stunning. It's probably beyond that of Cornish Main Line. Plus 47 there, heading towards Plymouth. So yeah, I think it probably is beyond that of Cornish Main Line in terms of the actual overall scenery quality, and a lot of that will have to do with the amount of time that Simon and the team that have developed this route, the amount of time that they're able to spend developing it. So it's a massive advantage in terms of that, is that this is not a commercial route, so it doesn't matter how long you take. So that's a lot of that comes into where that comes into consideration. Now the only thing that the Just Trains one does have on this is that obviously the JT one has a lot more custom assets because it's a business model, whereas this is a freeware route. So whilst this does have a lot of custom assets such as the Royal Albert Bridge, it doesn't have a lot of them at the stations and stuff like that. So I think you could look at that and say, well, the JT one obviously has those custom assets, but then I think you look at this, and I think overall, when you compare the two products side by side, I do think they're pretty similar in terms of quality. I think this has got the better scenery and the better actual driving options because you can do the branch lines and stuff. And I think when this is complete and, you know, all the way down to Penzance, I think this will be the better option. But yeah, I think the JT one's still a decent route. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I worked on that myself, so obviously I'm not going to say it's a bad route, but I think when this is done fully throughout, and I'm guessing that's going to be quite a while yet, I think this will be the premier route to drive on. So we're now arriving into Dockyard. I've overshot a little bit there. So with version 8 you get the finish line as far as Moorswater and Liskeard, so you can go do the Moorswater branch now. You also get Exmouth branch, you get the Oakhampton / Malden Quarry branch included. The southern main line goes as far as Honiton. You of course get this line that we're doing here to Gunnislake. You then get the Paignton Dartmouth Railway. You also get obviously the Torbay line to Paignton. You get St Ives to St Earth, which in itself, that's the branch to St Earth, and that is absolutely stunning. As yet you don't get the line from St Earth to Penzance. You get Penzance area, so Lonrock and the stuff there, but you don't actually get the line between just yet. You also get St Blaise, you get Parr, you get the section up to St Austell as well, and Bungalow, so you get a fair bit. And I think from Exeter to Liscard it's something like 60 or 65, 70 miles. So it's a decent run. It's well over an hour. And this is what I love about this route, is the amount of detail. I mean, just look at the detail there. The amount of time, I mean, obviously doing this stuff myself, I know how long that takes. And that takes a hell of a long time to do. To actually go to all that length for putting all that detail in. It's fantastic attention to detail. So now pulling into Keam Station. I think one of the main things I like about this route is the way in which all the assets have been used, because there's not all that many custom assets in it actually. There is a lot across the route, but you know, in general effects, looking here, most of this is what's available from other routes and whatnot. I think these roads and stuff like that are custom assets, and certainly perhaps that footbridges as well. But a lot of it is stuff that's available elsewhere, which it shows a really, you know, talented use of assets and stuff available to Simon and the development team. I think it's Callum Menton that makes a lot of the assets there. You've got custom signage such as these Tamar Valley Line signs. Or over here. Stuff like that. It's really cool to see. So 1 hour apart. Next stop, St Buddha Victoria Road. And then that's where we branch off actually at St Buddha Junction. We head off towards Beer Alston. And this is the route that the Southern Railway services, Southern Region services, used to take out of Plymouth. They would head out of Plymouth heading south. And then as you get down to St Buddha, they would have turned off and then they go under the Royal Albert Bridge, and it seems really weird to head towards London going south out of Plymouth, but that's what used to happen. They used to use their own station in Plymouth, Plymouth Friary, and they used to actually pass through and past North Road Station, which was the Great Western Station in Plymouth, and head down here for a roundabout route over Dartmoor. It is the route that you know, they keep rumouring about possibly reopening over Dartmoor because it avoids all the seawall and stuff at Dawlish. And it is a very scenic line in its own right. I mean, the height that it gets to as it goes over Dartmoor is pretty stunning. Obviously, it's on the opposite side of Dartmoor to the Great Western Line, which on the Rotary side, it just skirts Dartmoor as it goes towards Ivy Bridge, but this route went right over Dartmoor towards Oakhampton, and the present day route that you get in this simulation as you go towards Oakhampton, that's just sort of edging onto Dartmoor there. It used to then go over the top of Dartmoor towards Tavistock, and then through Beer Alston into Plymouth in this direction. It's hard to believe when you see this branch you'll see it in a few minutes. It's hard to believe these days that this used to be a main line. I mean, the speed limit sort of suggests obviously that it was a main line, but it's one of those you struggle to see it. But you can see out here we've got the two platforms. Obviously you can see it's been a bigger station at some stage in its life. Nowadays it's just served as a branch line. I mean, over the years there's been a lot of calls for this line to reopen at least Tavistock, and there's a lot of pressure obviously to extend it to Oakhampton as well, and then you get the loop back round over Dartmoor. Whether it'll ever happen or not, I don't know. I personally don't think it'll ever happen. It'll be back over the moors. I think it'll be fantastic to see, but I don't think it'll actually happen. I just think, especially now with all the talks of doing the Dawlish seawall and moving the line out into the sea around Teignmouth area, and the amount of money that's going to cost, I can't see the whole route coming back. I think Tavistock is a realistic option, but I just don't see it happening all the way across, which is a great shame because it is a nice line, nice area. And it'd be interesting to see the journey time to Exeter via Roehampton as well. So this is where the token section starts. Obtain token. It's single track all the way from here to Gunnislake, there's no passing loops. Which is probably why it makes it quite tricky for rail tours to do this line, because trains run on here all night, all day and late into the evening as well. At 10 o'clock at night, something like that last train. So you can really, I suppose, only do it on a Sunday, I'm guessing. So the limit on here is 55 mile an hour, just around this corner. And as we swing around under here, we go underneath the Great Western main line to Penzance. Still heading south, and this is sort of where we start turning back to head northwards, up the same estuary. So up here you got Victoria, St Bernard Ferry Road. And then across there is the station we stopped at, the southern one. So we're now heading around the curve. It's quite a long curve. And this one will lead us round to the Tamar estuary, and then we'll go under the Royal Albert Bridge. And the southern line at this stage goes quite steeply downhill, obviously it has to lose that height so it gets down to the river estuary level. Whilst leaving St Bernard Ferry Road, the Great Western line is on a steep climb, so that's how they get the height difference, and you'll see just how much height difference there actually is as you get around this corner. So here we go, we're going under the Royal Albert Bridge, and you can see there the ballast problem that I was talking about with the track enhancement pack installed. It is a bit of an issue. And there we go underneath on the southern line. So in this location you could have seen castles and you could have seen Bullard Pacifics going underneath in this direction. Certainly would have been quite a sight. And this asset is not a Just Trains one either, this has actually been custom made for this route specifically. And I think to get something this intricate on a freeway route as a specific asset is just, it's out of this world. It's fantastic. You know, you don't have to pay any money to get this, you have to pay for the requirements obviously, but stunning. And then same on this side at Saltash. The Union Inn, looking fantastic. So we're now heading along. This is one of my favourite views. So we're now heading along the Tamar estuary. In a minute we'll start to climb. The other thing I love about this line is the jointed track. It's jointed track all the way. I'll turn the game sound up so you can hear the joints on the track, because it is quite a nice sort of sound. You obviously get the passenger view as well. Once again heading over the river estuary there. You can see with that bridge as well where it's dual track. Because it was in Steam days, obviously it was a double track line this. I just find it funny how they got the secondary speed limit listed there, obviously for freight and for rail tolls, I'm guessing. You get no freight down here other than very, very, very occasional engineering trains. So at this point we're going over the River Tamar on this long bridge. This bridge sort of reminds me of the one at Padstow, I think it is, where the southern line used to come out of Padstow. And again we're climbing again out of the river valley now. The line does go really, as we go towards Bivalston, we really do climb quite high above the line, above the valley. And And indeed, as we get towards Bay of Alston, we then drop down and go over the Calstock Viaduct. And that viaduct itself is actually over the River Tamar, and it's a huge structure, so you can sort of see how much height you gain on this journey. And I mean, this isn't even the full extent of the climb, because this line is to carry on obviously onto Dartmoor, as I said. And when I used to get up there, it went across the top of Dartmoor, so you can imagine how much a steam loco would have had to work coming up here. So in about 3/4 of a mile, stopping at Bay Feathers. Gradient currently is 1 in 70. And at the moment we're in 4th gear, we're just sort of holding the speed. So you can see the river valley down there, shows you how high we've gone just in the space of about 2 miles, and that's because the gradient has been a constant 1 in 70. So I'll shut the power off now. And we'll get the brakes in. Ready to make this book stop at Bay Feathers. Interesting little station with a heritage centre on the platform, which we'll have a look at in a sec. Now those signals there are just for decorational purposes, and I think in real life they're actually upper quadrant, because obviously this was an upper quadrant line being southern. You can see again the other platform there. Some lovely custom signage and custom assets there. Is that actually, I wonder if that's actually a real sign of real life, Beer Ferris. I didn't notice that when I first did this line. Beer Ferris is the actual name of the place, and that was its Beer Ferris, which is quite cool. So you got the heritage centre over here, you got custom signage and custom buildings, which is really nice. Again, more custom signage there. We're actually a little bit earlier, so we can have a little look around. So you got the heritage centre, Tamar Bell, and the signage there in southern sort of livery. And over here, in real life that's obviously not a German shunter, but I think it's some sort of little small industrial shunter, and you got a few coaches and stuff, which I'm guessing is the Tamar Bell. I don't know if they actually operate on this little piece of track or not. It's a lovely little place. I've never actually been in real life. But again, look, you can see the detail that Simon has put into this, along this row here. Stunning detail. And you can see again, I think that one's the Tamar Valley. I'm not actually sure which one's the Tamar Valley, to be honest. My knowledge of this part of Devon isn't particularly brilliant. We are still in Devon at this stage. Cornwall is on the other side of the Tamar, and I'm not sure if it goes south of the Tamar, north of the Tamar, sorry, or I don't think it does. The River Tamar itself sort of ends and peters out just as you get towards the northern Cornwall. It becomes a fairly small river. I think it's near Bude where it ends. I'm just actually looking it up now. Yeah, it is near Bude. It almost cuts the county fully, but it's just like at the north end there's a point where there's land, so Cornwall isn't an island. It actually almost is an island, I suppose, but the river itself doesn't quite go to the North Cornwall coast. It ends up on the hills above the Bude area, Hamworthy, I guess, somewhere around there. I'm just going to put this into async mode, speed up the game a bit. We are, as I said, running on the 1984 timetable. There seems to be quite a bit of slack as we've come up that section. I don't know whether there was a speed restriction or something. So remember to change engine at Bay of Alston once you arrive and press T. So we're now ready for the right way. once again we're onto the steepest part of the climb, 1 in 73. There's a lovely bit of scenery just come around here somewhere which I'll point out on the video. It goes through a tunnel of trees and it's just the way Simon's done it in the route is really nice. And these are the sort of routes in train sim where if you're doing it for free as well, you can really go to town with the detail because the amount of foliage and stuff is stunning. Foliage for me is like my favourite thing in train sim. I love really going into detail with that, so I can only imagine the fun Simon's had with it. Not sure if that's a custom bridge actually, it's in southern colours. So we've got 2.5 miles now to Beer Alston, which is where we change ends. And that's where we leave the southern line and go onto the very tightly curved branch to Gunnislake. We're still on the climb at the moment, 1 in 73. This climb I believe does go all the way up to Gunnislake, up to Beer Alston. Steeply banked curve there. And this is where we're coming around now, just towards the tunnel of trees, which I'll show from outside because it really is impressive. Just here, I think the effect there is just it's really cool because it's so tightly mixed in there. It's taken a lot of time to actually get the clearances and stuff exactly as he wanted. Great curvature on this line with the super elevated curves. So we're now 1.5 miles from Beer Alston. I can't imagine how hard the Bullied Pacifics and stuff must have been working coming up here. It must have been quite a thrashy climb for them. Again, it's 1 in 73. We are actually running a little bit early again. The Class 118s did run this service, the level 118s did run this service in the 1980s. So this is a fully authentic representation, usually a 2-car unit. And that's certainly judging by the photos that I've seen anyway. My research for this scenario. So we're now on the final approach up to Beer Alston. I'm just going to shut off the power. Slowly roll to that 20 limit. Got an AWS ramp here. Probably should have had a warning horn there. So again, we are like about half a minute early. That's why I'm just letting it roll up here around the curve. I'll give it some brakes in a minute. And this is where we'll be changing ends and we'll be leaving the southern route. You can still clearly see on the right hand side there where the second track used to be. So we're stopping the platform. Press T and then we'll start already with the doors and stuff with the setting up of the cab. So we put this back into neutral. Take the reverse it back to. I think that is the off position on this first. Oh no, it's there. There we go. That's the off position. So what we need to do now is we need to change the marker lights to tail lights, and to do that we're going to press Control and M to turn the marker lights off, then Control and T to put the tail lights on. Simple as that. Now it's simply a case of moving the brakes to full, so they're out of the way. And changing ends, and then we need to get back in this end. We need to put the reverse into forward, put the gear lever into neutral for now because we're not actually due off for a minute, and then we need to once again Control and T turn tail lights off, Control and M to put the headlights on. And then the one thing we mustn't forget here is that obviously it's a manual set of points at the end of the platform. Change those so it's set for the line to Gunnislake. And at the station here again, a custom station building. Clearly see where there used to be two platforms, and then the southern route used to continue around this tree line over here. And it used to head off towards Tavistock, and then that's where it used to climb right up onto the top of Dartmoor, just for the run up to Meldon. And from Meldon it was downhill all the way to Exeter. It still is to this day. I mean, there's still a service to Oakhampton. Obviously they're actually building an extra station on there, so obviously that'll it's going to get more traffic over the years. Again, whether we'll actually see this connected again fully, I don't know. It is a bit of a sort of strange way of coming out of Plymouth when you think it's taken us half an hour to get here, give or take. So 20, sort of say 20 minutes for an express to get here from Plymouth. You're going to be talking about another 20 minutes to Oakhampton at least, if not half an hour, then another half an hour to Exeter. So it's 30 minutes longer than the current journey time. So you can kind of see with that, it's a lot slower than the Great Western route, which is why it wouldn't really be used as a primary route. I don't think it'd ever work that way. So we are now heading along, ready to go down the Gunnislake branch. Very slow line. 20 mile an hour maximum speed at any point on this journey. And it's a very steep line as well. Press the button there, sorry. 1 in 40. And that's a ruling gradient now for the entire journey. We've got a mile and a half to Carlstock, and we're literally, to get to Carlstock, we're only going down the hill. Literally just across the valley. But it's such a steep line to actually get there. It's all about finding your braking point, so you're not gaining speed all the time. Trying to keep the speed steady. So I'll just show you the sort of how sort of I reckon if you're on a bicycle you can actually get from Beer Alston to Carlstock faster by bicycle than on train, because the train's going around here now to get around this headland to go back down towards the river valley to go over the viaduct, and Carlstock's over there, look. It's only a 20 mile an hour limit. It's hard to justify how this branch ever really worked. I mean, it's such a slow line. Even in steam days I reckon you'd been quicker on a bus. So in about half a mile we go on to a 15 mile an hour section. We're bordering into the river valley now. Lovely detailing with the inside check fails and stuff as well. So in a moment we're going to the 15-mile-an-hour section, and that's the section as we go across the viaducts to cross the valley. It's really hard to find the braking point, so you're not messing with the brakes every 5 seconds because it's such a steep climb, steep drop. If you're not careful, you'll just find yourself braking permanently and messing with them all the time. So you got to try and find a sweet spot where it'll just hold it. Not necessarily a proper technique, it's just a lot less hassle. So we're going down through the steeply tree-lined section. In a moment we'll go across the viaduct. So we're going around the curve now. The gradient is obviously it ends as you get onto the viaduct, then we actually start climbing back up the other side of the valley to go towards Gunnislake. Incredible bit of engineering. It seems so over-engineered for such a small branch line to Gunnislake. It's not like it's a particularly important branch line, as far as I know anyway. And this is stunning though. The view over Carlstock there. Again, great detail. The southern line would have gone over the hills in the background. Point my mouse over there, you can see sort of Beer Alston. And it used to go across and then it would have disappeared over the hills on the left. And we are now pulling into Carlstock Station. 10-mile-an-hour limit as you approach. Presumably for this little foot crossing, which is unguarded. We are actually again about a minute earlier. Looks like there used to be a goods yard or something on the left here. Quite a lot of open area. I'm actually going to do some reading up on this line because I feel like it has a bit of a story to tell. I can't understand just can't get the reasons for it into my head. Maybe somebody in the comments could tell me what the viability of going towards this effort to build this line was, because it doesn't seem like it used to have much really. And the interesting thing actually about this area is that we obviously were on the southern line to Tavistock. There was actually a western region line to Tavistock, and that's what I was thinking of the Princetown one, is I knew it went through Tavistock, and that was the Great Western line through North Devon. And these were the southern lines obviously, coming south out of Plymouth and then around the north side. But yeah, the Great Western line used to go to Tavistock. It used to come around Tavistock Junction, which is obviously why it got its name, just after you leave Plymouth heading north. And it used to go up the valley there. Is it the Plym Valley Railway that's there now, Preserved Railway, on that line? And then you could also go up the Princetown branch from there as well. It's amazing how much railway history Plymouth actually has and how much it's lost, because it hasn't really got much left, let's be honest. This is about it really. And it used to have all the dockyards and stuff around Plymouth, which used to carry rail traffic. around Plymouth Friary actually, used to store some freight, which is where the southern station used to be. There still was some freight down there until a couple of years ago. I believe that's now finished. There used to be some bitumen traffic to that area, and there used to be scrap traffic as well. And they used to go from trip workings at Tavistock, I believe, Tavistock Junction. So here we go, we're due to round to Gunnislake at 1901, and then depart again 1915. And the rest of that message doesn't really matter, but basically, I've done it to the real timetables, so if we were doing the rest of the scenario, I would recommend watching Alan Thompson's video about async keys. Just search Alan Thompson async keys on YouTube. He did a tutorial about how to get async keys working, which is very helpful. And that'll basically show you how to get time sped up in the game, so that you can do these scenarios where you've got a 15-minute wait at a station, and you don't have to worry about, obviously, sitting there for the full 15 minutes. You can just press Control and Shift and 5, and that's it. It'll just do it for you, and it'll speed time up. So we've got road crossing, sorry, coming up in a minute. So we're now climbing up the river valley on this side. I guess this is probably the south side. I'm totally lost at the moment, to be honest. And we continue this climb all the way right into Gunnislake Station, actually. It's 1 in 40 climb all the way for the next 2.5 miles. So I guess in Steam days you would have only had a couple of coaches, maybe even one coach or something, I don't know. So again, we are still following the Tamar Valley actually, but we sort of curve away from it a little bit again. But we get so high above it when we get to actually Gunnislake itself. That it shows just the versatility of this line, sort of how it follows the contours basically. It's such a steep line, such a curved line as well. So at the moment we're coming up to an unguarded crossing, ungated crossing, which we'll have to, I think, we stop for. A 10-mile limit, but I've got a feeling you have to stop and whistle before proceeding. There we go, you can see the stop board now. Going to roll up to this board. Prepare the brakes. Bring the train to a stand. There we go. So just check the crossing's clear, obviously, which it is. I can imagine this must be hella nice if you're coming down here and a train's coming. You might as well stop. So this is actually a 10-mile-an-hour section for the next 0.4 miles. We're coming around now. Again, you can see clearly how steep we have above the valley now. Not quite sure why the limit is 10 mile an hour on this section. I know this curve's sharp, but around this next corner it looks like you could do at least 20, not 10. But I guess the track, looking at it, is probably still steamy, the track. Maybe that plays into it, I don't know. know when we get around here somewhere there is another ungated crossing, as far as I know. We've still got 2 miles to go and we've got another 8 minutes to do it in, so sort of shows you how long it'll take, how slow it is. Got the flanged grease on the left hand side there. So in a moment we head on to the 20-mile-an-hour section and we'll actually be able to speed up a little bit. Still on the 1 in 40. A mile and a half now to go to Gunnislake. I believe this will be the distant for Gunnislake. And I guess there'll be I think there's another crossing, yeah, there's another crossing sign in warning board there. And that's actually what the AWS one was for, I think. So we've actually sort of left the river valley a bit now, it's over there. We actually come back towards it as we go into Gunnislake itself. But again, it is a lovely looking line. And we've only gone over the hill from Calstock. You could literally, I reckon, walk it from the station to here faster. That's how slow this line is. Got another ungated crossing here which we need to stop at. So it is now just 1 mile to Gunnislake. 20 mile an hour limit most of the way. I think right up to the station almost. Very tranquil, scenic line. And it's so nice to see it in a route like this as well. Because as nice as this would be to do, saying the Just Trains Cornish main lines as an extension, the time that this would take to develop, I guess, would be at least 3 months. And there is no way you would ever earn the money from sales to justify it, because 3 months is a good few £1,000s to do it properly and do it justice. And you can just never justify those sales, and that's the reason that stuff like this doesn't get added into that route. Whether some sort of branch line pack will come for the Just Trains Cornish main lines in future, I don't know. It'd be our case whether the maths is suitable and work out. Whereas with this, I mean, this is absolutely superb. And I think even if JT were to do their own route, you can't really beat this anyway. It'd just be a try and making money, you know, money making would be the whole point of it. And that doesn't affect quality, so you still get the same quality as anything with JT. But it's got to have the maths, you know, thoroughly sorted out there. And I think, you know, I know myself doing freeware, that pressure is totally different when you don't have to worry about money. So now we're just on the final approach up to Gunnislake. Quarter of a mile to go. So we're just coming into the town itself. Or village, should I say. So we come up here into the platform, single platform, dead end. Really simple, that station. Very hard to stop at though, because it's on a 1 in 45 gradient, which is incredible really, for a platform. Most platforms are on an easy gradient, or a level gradient. And that pretty much concludes this video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget this route is now available. It's available from the Vulcan Productions website. Simply go to the route downloads page or www.vulcanproductions.co.uk/railways of Devon and Cornwall. You can download it there, you get all the info on the requirements and stuff. It's also available from Thomson Sim in the route section on their website. I think you go to page 2 on the route downloads and I think it's there. I don't know what the link is for it, I'm afraid, but it'll be in the description anyway. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, check us out on Twitch. Tom's usually streaming. Twitch.tv/TrainSimTV_Tom. Usually streams Wednesday nights at 7:30 and Friday nights at 7. Also, I really appreciate if you could subscribe to us as well. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. Helps out with the views and everything. And to get our channel noticed. I really appreciate watching, guys. Goodbye. Thank you.